What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mastering the Pokeverse. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment on the video if you have any questions. All right, let's jump right into it. Today, we are going to be talking about do's and don'ts at your local card shows or even at big ones. Steven here just attended a local card show. How would you rate your experience at the card show you just attended?
So it was good overall. I will say the issue with the one I went to is there wasn't a lot of Pokemon vendors there, unfortunately. But some of the things I realized I did not do was not only plan a budget, but also kind of plan the key things I wanted to look for. Because honestly, I kind of relate it to going to the grocery store hungry and you just want to buy everything, and then all of a sudden your tab's way up. Or if you shop at Target, they always get you. So, overall, though, it was fun. I got to hang out with some cool friends. I met some cool people. There was this guy named Avery who's kind of actually gave me some pointers, which I'll go into in a little bit. And it was kind of cool that, there was people teaching me some things that I didn't quite know. So,
All right, good. Let's get into it then. So this will kind of be like a little survival guide as to how to kind of prepare and attend a card show. So first, I want to get your opinion, like what kind of research and what kind of preparation should you do before attending? You just kind of mentioned a little bit of a budget, but before that, what homework should you do? What all should you do? Like you said, there wasn't as many Pokemon cards there as you thought, so maybe you yourself should have done a little more research.
I honestly probably should have because the first time I went to one, there was a lot more vendors, so I didn't have to wait as long in line. So there was, I think, four different vendors, and I had to wait a little bit, even with the early entrance. So one of the things I would probably change is I would have a set list of either Pokemon or the cards that I want to try to find. My budget, obviously, and I would also look at the value of the cards that I'm taking to trade because I did want to make some trades. Unfortunately, I couldn't because it was a little crowded, as I mentioned, but knowing kind of what the value is of either the cards you're going to take to trade or ones that you want to buy. So that way you also can make sure that people aren't trying to pull one over on you either. So those are probably like the top two things I would say I would research beforehand. And also, like I said, if you know what you want to get, then you can hopefully go right in, verify price, and either buy or maybe trade some stuff towards the cards you want.
And that'll kind of help you stick to your budget as well. If you kind of know what you want, know what everything's worth, and like if you see a card, you're like, oh, that's really pretty, but you might be paying double for it, not to get it there.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up not buying as much as I thought I was going to, which is kind of a good problem, but there was a lot that I wanted to buy. I mean, there was the Japanese Charizard promo, like Game Boy promo or CD promo, and there was a Latios and Latios card that I really wanted to buy. There was, of course, all the alternate arts, the Moonbreon, Giratina, all that sort of stuff, which I couldn't afford, but it was great to see. They had quite a bit of vintage stuff. Not a lot of loose packs, but the person I told you that I met, he's actually going to hook me up with some to open on the Birthday Bash stream, so that's going to be pretty sweet.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was very tempting, and I did hold back on buying a lot of that. So yeah, sticking to a list.
All right, so what essentials should you bring? Do the vendors prefer cash? Can you get a deal if you bring cash?
You can. That's actually a great topic. So if you would have brought cash, or sorry, if you bring cash, yeah, a lot of them would do kind of better deals because then they don't have to worry about the fees through even Venmo or PayPal, especially with some of that stuff starting to get a little bit more regulated. Um, or a lot of people want to do like, goods and services and stuff like that, which means the people selling the vendors lose some money. So definitely bring some cash, but also make sure you have those apps downloaded: Venmo, PayPal, Zelle. Those were kind of backup options.
So how long were you at the card show for? How long did it last?
About 3 hours, but
Okay.
it was still going on. It just got so crazy. So I ended up double checking. So one of the other things I'll say is if you go to one of these, don't buy at the first table. Go around because everybody had different prices. I saw Evolving Skies ETBs at one for 110, and then the next table was 100.
Hmm.
So if I would have bought one at 110, I just paid 10 extra dollars. So shop around. You're going to see a
So,
lot of cool stuff. Don't jump on it as soon as you see it.
okay. Good tips. Was there food there? Like if you're there for 3 hours, were you getting hungry at the end? Did you have to bring your own snacks?
Yeah, they didn't provide us any pokey treats or anything like that. So definitely was hungry. I was even saying that to one of my friends. Um, didn't eat anything before, so make sure you eat. Drink some coffee. Um, yeah, make sure you're hydrated. It gets hot in there, especially in a small place like that. So make sure you're ready to go.
Yeah, thinking about the cash, that would really help you set up a budget as well. Like if you bring the cash that you want to spend and just say, I'm not using my credit cards on any of this, then you're kind of set on a budget already.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like going to a casino or something. You take a set amount, or you're going shopping, even for groceries or clothes or whatever. Yeah, set that budget. Tip number one, definitely would say set the budget.
All right, so let's kind of get into the actual trading of the buying of cards.
Yeah.
When you first pick up a card, what are some things you should be looking for when, like, for the card's quality and the prices? Like, what's the difference between, let's say, if you want to buy a mint condition card, is that what much more than maybe a played card?
So yeah, it's definitely going to be, you're going to pay for condition. But one thing I'll say is don't take, face value for what they're saying. Inspect the card. I did that, made that mistake at the last show. Took face value, got home, started looking at it more, and realized it
Mm.
was more played than near mint. I
Yeah,
also
don't let
realized
them
that.
rush you. They want to make a dollar, so they're going to tell you
Exactly.
it's best condition, but you got to really look at it. Make sure the back is clear, because sometimes they
Yep.
put them in the sleeves where the back is covered up. Take it out, inspect it thoroughly, make sure there's no scratches, dents, or anything like that.
So actually, one of the cards, the only single card I bought was this card, and I did shop around. So as you can see, this is the original sleeve it came in. You can't see the back. So I made sure I took the card out. I was inspecting, the centering, kind of doing the test of turning it, just making sure all the hollow, there's no scratches, and I did the same thing with the back. So that was one of the things I definitely made sure of. There's a couple of vendors that actually had that card, so I looked at all of them to see which one was the best quality. But funny thing you mentioned about inspecting, the guy Avery I mentioned, so the Latius and Latius, and I may mispronounce the set it's from, but it's a Japanese cards from, I think it's Palo Murray Alto is what it's called, and it was a set. And he asked me, he was like, "Hey, so what do you want this for? Personal collection? Do you want the higher grades?" And I was like, "No, I just honestly really want these cards for my collection." He's like, "Don't buy from me. Grade 6 or 7 and crack it." He's like, "If it's just for your personal collection and you don't mind light play, because I don't, honestly, I couldn't care less about the tens. Yeah, it's great to have, but you're paying way too much money. And
I guess
you'll
that makes
actually
sense
find that out at card shows."
because, like, if you look at prices, a lot of 6 and 7s they actually like decline the value of it. It's not like if you
Yeah.
grade a card and it's a 6, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's some people that want them, and like me, I never honestly thought about it. Like I've been collecting for a long time, but obviously I still learn things about it too. So it was really
Yeah,
cool. He was honest and trying to
yeah,
help
that's
me
good
save some
advice.
money because I almost spent more than I wanted to if I would have bought those cards. So
So going into that, that kind of leads us into negotiating with the vendors. How would you? I really want to start getting into it, which is why you're answering most of these questions. How would you start the negotiation? If it's a good price, it's a good price, and you know it's a good price. But let's say it's a little bit higher than market value. How would you kind of negotiate that price down?
So something I mentioned before is use TCG Player or eBay recent sales, because if you can show evidence, say, "Hey, the last couple sales are around this price. Can you go down a couple bucks?" Most likely they're going to say yeah because you have that evidence. Again, like you said, they want to make a dollar. So if you're going to walk away, I mean, when they have that much, um, you know, dozens and dozens of these graded cards and even raw cards, there's a lot to go through, and they spend a lot of money up front to grade all these cards. So don't be afraid to try to make a deal. The more you buy, I heard a lot of them say, you buy a couple cards, they'll knock some money off. But yeah, use TCG Player. Take a minute. I held on to that card that I just showed you, Professor Elm, and I made sure on TCG and eBay it was at that price. Had it been, $5 or $10 higher, I would have negotiated down or just walked away. And realistically, most of the time, especially if you have cash, they're going to be like, "I'll do the deal," because they want to get some money back.
And also in person, they know the deal is going to go through because sometimes on eBay they get returns and stuff like that, and they just
Yep.
don't want to deal with that. Kind of going in, and do you think like talking to them kind of and kind of get you a better deal, like kind of being friendly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you go in and you're patient, like the one table, it took a while to get up there and talk to the guy. You're patient, you're nice. You honestly, if you're just transparent and say, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for around this price, really all I can do, or, what's the best you can do, um, they're going to work with you. And if you have cards and you don't mind trading them for less, that's also a good way. And what I mean by that is like my friend Crowley went with me and he traded a lot of duplicates that he had. And a lot of the vendors were acting like local card shops. So you would get 70 to 80% of value for trading in. But if you have a lot of bulk that otherwise isn't going to move, or you're like, I don't mind losing a little bit so I can get this card and pay less, then do that. Like it worked out great for him. He got quite a bit of base set two, and I believe fossil holographic cards offer pretty good price. So that's another route you can go as well. And if you're willing to trade and stuff like that for things they want, most likely they're going to work with you. And if they're not going to, then it's not a good vendor to work with and move on.
And that kind of segues into our next point. Um, Card shows are a great place to network and connect with other Pokemon, either collectors or players. And a lot of people bring their trade binders.
Yeah,
So if you want to get a better deal, and they might you might have a card they want, and you have a card for you want, you're not going to get 80% of the value. And for that trade, you're going to get 100% or sometimes even more because they want that card right then and there more than you want their card. So usually the deals end up being pretty even, and you win some and lose some. But I think that event they normally even out over time. Sometimes you give somebody a better deal, sometimes you get a better deal.
yeah, and that honestly, that's kind of a good point. So, and what Trey is talking about is a lot of these shows have trade areas, so you're just trading with other people who are attending. But something I definitely hone in on and preach on is, make this about the community. Don't sit there and worry about profit, profit, profit. Yes, everybody wants to make some money, but remember to give back, pay it forward. And those are things I always try to do anytime I sell cards. A lot of times I try to throw in extras and not just, your random V cards or hollows that nobody cares about. Or I try to knock down the price a little bit because I can save somebody a little bit of money who really cares about this card, or I can just worry about myself. And we need to be selfless and give back. So,
Exactly, because you got me started because you gave me a bunch of cards that you just had bulk
did
of.
yeah. And there were
And
some good
for
cards like
free.
the
They were
Hollow
for free too.
Ditto,
Yeah, they were very good. They were
Fossil.
some base set
Yeah.
fossil. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And that's kind of maybe I don't appreciate it as much because it kind of got me hooked. now, now
I
I'm
mean, you
spending more
also don't
money
know
than
that when you move back to the States, I'm just going to rob you and take them back. But I'm just
no
letting you
takesies
borrow 'em.
backsies.
Yeah, don't worry.
All
I
right.
won't do that to you.
Yeah, so it's a great card shows are a great place to meet people, connect with people, and maybe like make friends, and maybe you'll see them at the next card show.
Yeah,
And they'll
exactly.
have, and if you say you're looking for a card, maybe they'll look out for that card as well. And when you see them next time, they're like, "Oh, remember that card we were talking about? I found it for you."
Yeah,
And then they might even just give it to you if it's not an expensive card, because I've seen that happen before.
yeah, absolutely.
So, you've been how many card shows that do you think you've been to?
So that's only my second one. I
Okay,
really wanted to go to Pat Flynn's or Deep Pocket Monsters card show in I think it's June or July in Orlando.
yeah.
Fortunately, I can't. But yeah, that was my second one, and I've made a lot of connections. You were just talking about connections. Like there was a another vendor there last time that I was talking to him a while after, and he was hooking me up with deals. The other guy I'm talking about now, he's going to try to help get me some stuff for the birthday bash stream, which is really cool. So definitely attend these things. Yeah, I've only attended two, and I hope to go to different ones. And some that are bigger and just kind of see what it's all about. But I'm still learning. But it's been fun. Definitely highly recommend going.
So, were there any like workshops or like panels and discussions? Have you ever seen those at any of these card shows? Because I know a lot of like events that I've been to, not necessarily Pokemon events. They always have kind of workshops where you can go off into a little group, and they have like a professional like kind of speak about it.
Yeah, they didn't have that. this is definitely, even though it was packed, it had like a lot of sports stuff, a lot of sports
Okay.
cards there. But yeah, it didn't unfortunately have that. Maybe just because it was smaller and there's only so much room there. I'm not sure, but it would have been cool because I've seen a lot of like conventions and collecticons, things like that, that people post about that have all that. So I hope to,
Okay.
I really do hope to attend something like that that has that.
Yeah. So if you do go to a show that has workshops and stuff, just make sure you mark down your schedule because a lot of them overlap. So just make sure you mark down the ones you really want because you don't want to miss out on the ones that you're looking forward to.
Time management.
That's in everything. All right, Stephen. So I think that kind of concludes the survival guide to the card shows. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to make sure you look out for when you're doing a card show?
Not necessarily. Like you said, just kind of backtrack. One, set a budget. Two, make a list of what you really want, and number three, just know the value. Know the value of what you're taking mostly, but also your resources: TCG Player, eBay, recent comps. And number four, don't jump at the first thing you see. There's going to be a lot of different stuff there. Make your connections, talk to people, and a
Just
lot of
to
times you can.
interlude real quick, the
Yeah,
first, really the first vendor is paying the most money to be in that spot, so they're going to have the highest prices.
yeah, and that was a person that had a lot of the really high end cards. And, a lot of these people are probably making deals behind the scene elsewhere to get a lot of these cards, which is good for them for knowing how to do it. But yeah, take your time. Don't jump on the first thing. Like I said, go in the grocery store, you're hungry, you want everything, and then later you're going to regret it once you're full. So take your
And a lot of
time.
times, deals happen at the end of the card shows when everybody's leaving. They're trying to move a little more stock, make a little more money. So if you have the energy to stay till the end, you can kind of get some pretty good deals there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say those are kind of the main things. And just real quick to show the rest of the stuff I got. So I got a couple packs of Cosmic Eclipse, which we will be
Oh, nice.
opening on the birthday bash. And then I also got a Team Up tin,
Oh,
which is out of print. And as you know, the prices of the packs are going through the roof. So I got a really good deal on that. We're going to open it up as well. So I'm really excited for that. So please come join us on June 6th. We will announce the time. And yeah, so
all
that's
right.
everything
Well,
I got from the show and this as well. But
so
yeah.
I have we're kind of going off the last episode. What kind of Pokemon type do you think you'd be? And what would be your weakness and your strength?
Well, a lot of people say because of my personality and I have a very short fuse, I'd probably say based on that, I'd be like fire because obviously they're hot. Um, yeah, so obviously my weakness would be water or talking about my feelings. So there's that.
That's funny because I
But
kind
yeah,
of said,
probably
go
fire.
ahead,
I
fire.
was gonna say
Okay,
yeah, fire. How about you?
I would say water because I'm kind of chill, go with the flow of things, and
That's
yeah,
true.
my weakness would be electricity because when things start moving fast, it doesn't. So it's yeah, it just kind of goes with what is the natural weakness. Because some things when they come at me too fast, I'm like, oh, slow down.
See, that's why we're a good team. We're
Yeah,
balancing each other out. And speaking of water, I get to go hang out in my pool soon and hang out on my Lapras float, and it's gonna be cool. See, hopefully that will chill me out.
yeah. Well, enjoy your pool day and go ahead, Stephen, close us out.
All right, guys, appreciate everybody for coming, and we'll see you next time. Take
All
care.
right.